indeed fortunate to have His Excellency Kenji Hiramatsu with us. And we've just had a short conversation as to what all is possible between the two countries. And I think the opportunities are huge. And we also have some folks from the business community, so thank you for joining us at ISP. So I've been telling His Excellency what a good bunch of students that we have, and that you're the pride of the nation. And so we're looking forward to a very, very interactive session. I think the value that the ambassador brings is insights that are global insights, and they're not just insights from Japan, but he's been around the world. And so you have an opportunity to ask questions on the many issues that are facing this nation on development and the role that Japan can play, but also insights about Japanese companies. I, for example, am very fascinated with the consensus building ability within Japanese companies. So, with that, let me hand over to His Excellency.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava, for introducing me. It's my great pleasure to be here today in front of such talented students in this Indian School of Business. I'm going to talk about Japan-India relationship, but I'd like to have a more interactive session. I'll take 20 minutes or so, and I'd like to get as many questions as possible to have a more interaction with you. But I'd like to start from Japan-India relationship in a very brief manner. As you see, Japan-India relationships now flourishing in a very strong and steady manner. As you see the development in these years in this slide, we have annual leaders level visit in a reciprocal way. Last year, Prime Minister Modi visited Japan last November, and he visited not only Tokyo but also a city called Kobe to visit famous factory producing high-speed rail rolling stock. This is called Shinkansen system. We have decided to introduce the Japanese Shinkansen system by the year 2023. The project has already started. So Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Abe travel together in this Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kobe, around 2.5 hours. They have a lot of discussion, not only bilateral but also very strategic kind of discussion. How we see the world, how we see the evolving situation surrounding two countries, not only India but also Japan. How we see the new leadership of the United States, how we see the emerging China, and these kind of things. Two Prime Ministers have long discussions. I see that the Prime Minister really enjoyed personal friendship. They share the strategic values, so it means that they really enjoy this kind of discussion to talk about the strategic relationship between two countries. That's why we call our relationship now Japan-India Special Strategic and Global Partnership. It means that not only we have bilateral things, trade and investment relationship, some strategic and also security-related matters, but also we like to see our relations in a more global way. Japan is a very important partner in the global stage. We have been contributing a lot in many areas such as development and environment and science technology areas around the world in these leading countries in terms of leading many agenda in United Nations. So Japan has a lot of things to do together in global arena. But also in strategic way, Japan is a lot of issues to be incorporated together with India. Japan is now trying to be a more responsible and global partner, and Japan wants to be more proactive diplomacy, and we want to contribute more, not only global business and investment agenda, but also in the security arena. Japan has been a little bit reticent in terms of security cooperation in many areas in the world. But a couple of years ago, we have reviewed our security policy in order that Japan can be more active in global stage. For example, in peacekeeping operation, and if some problems, conflict happen, Japan is ready to support, for example, logistic supports and some humanitarian assistance to the situation, for example, in Syria and Iraq. Japan has been contributing quite a lot, especially the refugee alleviation projects. So Japan is becoming more active in global arena. Prime Minister Abe has strong conviction that Japan should be more active in the global stage. And he believes that India is really the partner for Japan in talking about global agenda and strategic issues. That's why we are trying to materialize this Japan-India special strategic and global partnership in a more concrete terms. With regard to the investment trade relationship, as is mentioned in this panel, we have already promised a target of 3.5 trillion yen, which is equivalent to 2 trillion rupees of public and private financing from Japan to India in 5 years. It was announced 2014 September. And also we have announced that we should double our investment in India in 5 years, or double number of companies operating here in India too. So we have a rather challenging and promise already made by Prime Minister Abe. The reason why is India is such an important partner for Japan. We'd like to contribute, for example, the development of the economy, contribute to the for example, Make in India initiative. So Japan is very active these days with regard to economic and investment arena. I'd like to come back to this again later. That is said, this program of Shinkansen system, maybe I'll come back again. This is very high-tech area. And also, not only the investment and trade issues, we like to cooperate more in the area of security and political issues. And one example is we have agreed upon the civil nuclear cooperation that was signed in the occasion Prime Minister visit, Modi's visit last November. It was already ongoing. Now the agreement is being discussed in the Japanese Parliament. I hope it will be approved sometime very soon. This is some figure with regard to investment from Japan to India. But it's a little bit old figure, I have to say, because, for example, 2015, the figure is around 2.6 billion US dollars. And previous year, 2014, it was not mentioned here, but 2014, the figure was around $2 billion. So 2015, the number has increased around 30%. But if you look at the figure last year, 2016, it was not completed yet. We haven't received complete figure in fiscal year 2016. But until the end of December last year, the figure was $4.2 billion. So it jumped from 2006 to 2.6 billion to $4.2 billion. But it is until the December, so it will be much higher than that. We expect something like $4.6, $4.7 billion. It's almost double last year. It is huge amount of increase. So we are very pleased to see that. And you see the other countries, if they approve, Japan looks like third and fourth, but you see, I'm not going to criticize Singapore, but Singapore's investment is basically service and financial transaction. But Japan's investment, as you see, is mainly for manufacturing sector. There's some plants like Suzuki and Hitachi has already is really visibly invested in this country by establishing some factory plants and also by employing many local Indian people. So I think this is real investment. So in terms of manufacturing sector, I think Japan is biggest investor to India. In this way, we like to contribute maybe India initiative on the part of the Prime Minister. This is some example. Delhi Metro, we are not here in Delhi, but Delhi Metro is one example. This is, as you know, I'm very much enjoying very comfortable ride in Delhi Metro. Now expanding even more, and this introduced some culture of safety and also arriving by a schedule, and also how to use the metro in a very clean way, how to make it punctual. These are all very typically Japanese culture. So I'm very glad to see that by introducing metro using Japanese technology, not only technology itself, but the culture of Japanese culture of discipline and punctuality also have been introduced to Delhi people. This is an example. This is Shinkansen we call high-speed railway project. This is already agreed 2015 summit meeting. The Prime Minister Modi agreed to introduce Japanese high-speed rail project. And last year, the visit, they agreed a complete time frame. It means that the construction will start by the end of 2018. Operation starts in 2023. So you see, in 7 years' time, you will enjoy this very comfortable, quiet, and very high-speed rail project. And as you see, this is from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. It's almost 500, I think, kilometers, but only 2 hours. So it is very, high-speed rail and very stable. No kind of noises. And you see the very comfortable ride in Shinkansen system. At the same time, we'd like to introduce new technology available for Indian engineers for the smooth operation of this high-speed railway project. And we hope not only Mumbai, Ahmedabad, but in the years to come, this system will be introduced in other corridors. Since this system is introduced, it is natural for me that other corridors also will use this high-speed rail Shinkansen system. We are very conscious to have good training programs for the operators of this project and also the contractors of this project. And we are encouraging Japanese companies to relocate their production bases to India to contribute to local production and also training for local people. So this is another very big step forward with regard to India's industrial revolution. This is another cooperation area. We have already making progress with the Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor project. For example, dedicated freight corridor western part has been already in progress. And as I said, high-speed rail will make some very big added value to this UNRC project. And also we have been discussing with regard to CBIC Chennai Bengaluru Industrial Corridor project with some industrial township project in this particular area. And not only we have been talking about India's infrastructure development program, but also our sphere of cooperation is much wider. It means that not only in this country, but also to support some infrastructure project in countries surrounding India. And Japanese Prime Minister has announced new initiative when he was in Kenya last August in the regular meeting of Japan-Africa conference in leaders level. He announced an initiative which is called Free and Open Indo-Pacific Strategy. It means that we have to connect Indian Ocean with Pacific Ocean in a very smooth and prosperous and open manner. So it means that we are happy to support connectivity projects such as port constructions and road constructions, and to make sure that freedom of navigation, freedom of oversight, oversight can be assured. So I think this has a very good synergy with Prime Minister Modi's initiative. It's called Act East Policy. So how to connect India's looking toward east and Japan is looking towards west. So this is perfect synergy for two countries, very important initiatives. And that is the agenda Prime Minister Abe and President Modi have been discussing quite a lot. And I'd like to a little bit talk about Japan-India people-to-people exchange. I have to say that still the number of exchanges are a little bit limited. As you see, Indian visitors to Japan 2015 is around 103,000. 2016 figure is a little more. It will be perhaps 130,000 Indians visiting to Japan. But compared to Japan-China relationship, Chinese visitors to Japan is around 5 million. So it is much huge difference. The size of the population is almost the same. But of course the distance is a bit longer, but it's something is wrong for me. So I'm very much encouraging more Indian people to visit Japan, especially famous cherry blossom season, which is somewhere around March and April already passed this year. But looking at the figure this year, a lot of Indian people have already visited Japan just to enjoy, for example, famous cherry blossom season. But my target is to make it 10 times more. So I'd like to see, for example, 1 million Indian visitors coming to Japan in my tenure as ambassador. So this is my target. But this year we are celebrating the year of Japan-India friendly exchanges. We are going to have a lot of events to raise awareness of Japan in many ways, cultural, industrial, history, many aspects of science, technology. So I hope you join this kind of event and to support our endeavor in order that we have more people to people exchange between Japan and India. We have already many programs, exchange programs, short-term and also scholarship programs available. And I hope again that many people here have a chance to look into the opportunity to visit Japan and to learn, for example, Japanese language. That is very, very good. And Japan and India now talking about new programs to allow Indian students to have an opportunity to study Japanese language in the future. So that is more or less the overall picture of Japan-India relationship. But our relationship is so wide-ranging. I couldn't cover a whole range of issues because time is limited. But since you are business students, so I rather concentrated in the business and economic investment arena. But we have a lot of things to do together with regard to security matters and defense cooperation. We'll have a so-called Malabar naval joint exercise between Japan, India, and the United States. It will take place in Indian Ocean sometime this summer. So this is a regular exercise, annual regular exercise. This is something symbolic, how our relationship has been developed into this kind of a military exercise together. And not only bilateral, but also Japan, India, for example, United States, trilateral cooperation is very important and very strategic values. In this new administration of the United States, we like to encourage US to look into more the situation here, to be more engaged in the issue of Asian Pacific and Indian Ocean region. So for that, Japan, India, United States trilateral cooperation plays a very important role. So I have been involved in the strategy and the security policy making before I came here. I know how important it is, how India has attached importance to Japan-India strategic dialogue and also Japan-India United States bilateral dialogue. So I'm happy to be here and to promote even more our relationship. But I feel that Japan-India relationship has entered a new era. And many people say that this is the best in the history. So not only because of the bilateral, very good two leaders relationship, but also we share the same value. It means democracy and open market, rule of law. Especially, I very much like that. Indian people really appreciate rule of law. That is fundamental value that will prevail in all over the world. So in this very close value between two countries, I see the great opportunity in the future. Not only economic investments establishing, I see not only manufacturing sector investment here, but also in retail and service sector. Many Japanese companies are doing business in this country. I can happily report that last Friday, there is a famous lifestyle company brand called Muji, M-U-J-I. I don't know how many people know this brand. It's very, very well known. This is very sophisticated, simple brand. And this shop has opened. It's open now in Delhi. So I will be able to purchase this many things in this shop. So this is one example. But our sphere of investment now expanding, and there are 1,300 companies operating here, Japanese companies operating here, and maybe more than 4,000 operation bases of Japanese companies in this country. It's now expanding very rapidly. So I see the great future with regard to Japan-India relationship, and I can say that our relationship has great potential. Okay, so I may stop here. So I'm very happy to take any questions you may have from the side. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us for gracing our institute with your esteemed presence. And my question is in line with the military exercises that you mentioned between Japan, India and the US. So, as we know that India is one of the largest importers of defense equipment in the world. And the Indian government is looking forward to building manufacturing capabilities within the private industries of India. Now, Japan has an excellent edge in precision instrument technology, which it can contribute to defense manufacturing in India. However, the Japanese policies forbid or put constraints on the Japanese companies to contribute such technologies in India. So, can we look forward to enhanced sharing or contribution between the two companies or between two countries on such manufacturing capabilities, so that we can combine the competitive edge of Japan and India in building a huge manufacturing base of defense equipment which will benefit both the countries?
Very much. That's a very good question, and I'm very happy to respond to this question. Since I'm in charge of security policy making before I came here, I was a responsible person to review the policies regard to defense and technology transfer policy. So I think it happened almost 3 years ago. Before that, we are very restrictive with regard to transferring technology to third country, and this was almost prohibited to make this happen. But from that year, we have made a major transformation of our policy to make it possible to transfer the technology in certain conditions. Condition means that it is, of course, abide by international regulation, international rule, and also it will contribute to Japanese defense, Japanese security. Thirdly, it will not be transferred to third countries. It means that the technology is transferred to India. It cannot be easily transferred to third countries. So there should be some, agreement between the two countries. So in these more or less three conditions, now we are able to transfer some technology to third countries, some countries like India. So we have agreed upon with a new agreement, which was signed almost 2 years ago, and I signed myself this agreement. It is just basic agreement that if, for example, the technology transfer to India from Japan cannot be transferred to third countries without consent of Japan. So in this basic agreement, we are in a position to find out, identify some of the technology which can be used here in India. But still, we are not be able to find out which is the concrete technology which should be provided from Japan. We are now in the discussion with the Ministry of Defense and other authorities, but we're in a process, work in progress now. So as you said, Japan has advanced technology in defense industry too, and we'll be happy to see some companies coming to India, collaborating with local manufacturers of defense equipment here in India. But as I said, only 3 years have passed since a major change for this policy. So some still companies, Japanese defense-related companies, are a little bit cautious about constructing some manufacturing bases overseas. So maybe you can start some research, joint research activities, or some providing or selling some Japanese equipment to India. So maybe you can start from that point. And also we have been discussing the possibility of selling so-called US-2. This is an amphibian type of a plane. It can be used, it can land in the land, also in the sea. So this is very useful for search and rescue operation. I hope Indian government will make some decision with regard to this purchase of this very high-tech, sophisticated plane from Japan. And also some Indian companies are interested in doing some joint venture with Japanese companies with regard to some technology, some equipment, which is available in Japanese companies. So discussions are ongoing, but it's not going as I expected, but gradually, I think Indian companies and the governments are familiar with new Japanese policy with regard to defense and technology transfer policy.
Good evening, sir. Sir, you spoke about Japan's investment in India. Can you please throw some light on export of Indian manufactured products in Japan? How receptive is Japan to Indian imports, and how it is poised to grow in the future?
Thank you very much for that. And that is the issue of trade. It is still not progressing as we expected. And Japanese market, as you see, is a very competitive market. Japanese consumers are very demanding. So how to meet the very demanding Japanese consumers is a challenge for Indian manufacturers. But one example is that Maruti Suzuki, this is I think Indian company, and they have produced many cars here. But one of the model called I think Baleno, that is very popular model here in India. They started to export Baleno car, Suzuki car, to Japan. I think it was almost 1 year ago, and 2016 March they started sales of Baleno in Japan. So it means that the quality of Indian products is now developing to meet very demanding consumers in Japan. I think there's a lot of possibility for Indian products selling in Japan. And we are now talking with Indian authorities, for example, how about organic products, and how about some food, processed food, and some fish products and so on. So I think still there are lots of possibility, but still a number of volume of export from India to Japan is a little limited. So I hope in years to come, the quality of Indian products has developed and more products will be sold in Japanese market. We are also working for that.
It'll be good. Next time I pass to Narita to find Indian food at the airport. We have some attendees from Hyderabad, and I'm told that they have a couple of questions.
Your Excellency Kanji-san. I'm Venki. I'm calling from Hyderabad. There are a couple of people here who need to ask you some questions, but I have a question on my own. I have been Japan buff, and I've been visiting Japan now for three times so far, and I haven't exhausted that country. It's such a beautiful, lovely country with most friendly people. I have a question. You mentioned about people-to-people contact that you're going to work intensely in this 2017. Can you mention any specific measures you have in mind for Indo-Japan people-to-people contact? How to improve?
Thank you very much. And one way is to enhance the number of Indian people who can visit Japan under certain invitation programs. We have some science-related programs. Science teachers, science students can visit Japan under the program called Sakura Science Project program. Almost 1,000 Indian students can visit Japan. Now I'm trying to, it was 500 last year. I'd like to double the number this year. It means 1,000 students can visit Japan under this program. So in this way, just increase the number of invitees under certain invitation programs. We can increase the number of people visiting Japan. And also, I'd like to organize many events here in India to let people know much more about Japan and to increase awareness of Japan by Indian people. So in this way, I hope the number of tourists from India to Japan will increase. There's already that's happening, I think. But to make it in a more big way, I hope to have more events taking place in India to raise awareness of people of Japan, how fantastic the experience we have in Japan in traveling in various parts of Japan.
A question for Excellency for the project of Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed trains. One is how Japan views this. This is investment or is it a loan at a lower interest? And do Japan and India share a future for connecting metro cities in India? Is there a shared future for rail connectivity, high-speed rails? These are two related questions I have. Thank you.
Yes, this is of course a huge investment program. Japan is financing massively this project, and also we are happy to transfer technology to India in railway sector. And this is not, I hope, only project with regard to high-speed rail, that will be expanded to other areas. And if the government decided to construct another corridor of high-speed rail, Japan is very happy to contribute. So this is not only a huge investment program, but also this will contribute to the transfer of technology in railway sector, and also to provide opportunity for more corridors constructed under this Japanese Shinkansen system. Thank you.
Kumana-san, Watashiwa Agnivesh Deska. So first of all, I've actually been a part of the Genesis program. I went there in 2010. So I can vouch for the relevance of the impact that it has had in the relationship area. So first of all, thank you for that. Arigatou gozaimasu. My question basically, I want to know about how much of paradigm shift are the Japanese organizations willing to change now? As in, you understand that now, still in Japanese organizations, it's a very fixed organizational structure. So it depends on the amount of time you spend in the organization, and your growth depends on that. And still, the country head level is with Japanese counterparts, even though Indian counterparts are also contributing a lot towards the growth of that organization. So these are the two areas where a lot of other organizations have become dynamic in terms that if you put in more performance, you get faster results. So are the Japanese organizations, because I'm sure you are dealing with a lot of them, willing to take that shift towards something which is more relevant in today's scenario, or how is it going to continue? So that would be my question.
That is happening, and we are having a lot of dealings with Indian counterparts. So we need more speed and some kind of courage to do business. Japanese companies used to be a little bit cautious and risk avoiding kind of attitude. But in doing business in countries like India, it's a very competitive market. Many companies from around the world look into the Indian market. So we have to make sure that we are speedy enough to grasp the opportunity for investing in certain areas. So I think Japanese companies are starting to learn how to be more responding to the reality of a certain market. So you may have this kind of image about Japanese companies, but they are trying to accommodate new situation, especially in this country. So one of the things for Japanese company is when they promise, they go through. They try to meet this promise. That is very important, I think, Japanese companies characteristic. So yeah, I hope they will keep this important part, but also a little bit more risk-taking and aggressive in terms of doing business. So I think changes happening in Japanese companies.
All right, the next question is Hyderabad, and if time allows, we have one person who's been waving his arm really hard on my right. So please, Hyderabad, go ahead.
Konnichiwa, Hiramatsu-san. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Domo.
So my question is, I had worked previously with Nissan for over 5 years, and in line with your policy for more people-to-people contact, can we see an increase in the number of Japanese firms visiting campuses like ISB for their recruitments in Japan and outside India? Do we have a policy driven by the government of Japan?
I encourage Japanese companies to visit Indian School for Business and other relevant authorities, organizations, and universities to recruit talented Indian students. And I think it's already happening. I know many Japanese companies visiting many prestigious universities to recruit talented Indian engineers, for example. So not only engineers but also some business-oriented students. So that's already happening. But I'd like to encourage, since I'm here today, in this business, I can assure you that when I meet my business colleagues next time, I will explain my experience visiting this beautiful campus and encourage them to have more contacts with this institute and to have opportunity to hire talented people from this school.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hiramatsu, to come today, and I'm very happy to be here as a only Japanese student in high school. And actually, not question, but I'd like to let me share my experience of in what I'm doing in India, because actually I'm in railway system business, what he says. And actually, I'm working in Toshiba, and we have established our division and my factory in India, in Hyderabad, last year. And we are making the electric equipment product for railway system. It's the core of the railway system trains. And actually, what I think is that the Japanese train, the railway system, the transportation system is the best in the world. I strongly believe that it's stable and safety and punctual. And now we Toshiba is very newcomer, and we are struggling. That's the competing. That's how can I say, the low price. But we will never cut the quality of our product, even if it is costly. For example, we now they're establishing our company, and from Japan, we are sending our supervisors and the engineers to India in my factory, and that engineer is the very best level, not the middle level. And also we are hiring the supervisors and workers Indian, and we are sending to Japan for training. And why we are doing like this is it's very costly, but all for the keeping quality of safety. So the Japanese Shinkansen is coming to India, and it's huge, actually a huge project, and it's very challenging. But it's coming to India, and we'd like to contribute to Indian society and Indian development. So the ISP people, we need to read the Indian. We have to contribute to Indian development and the Indian society. So I'd like you to all of you to support this together with us, and we are very happy to work with you. And please come to Japan. It's amazing. Actually, the train. Can you imagine like a high-speed train is every 5 minutes, 10 minutes without delay it's coming, and no actually accident for more than 50 years. It's the amazing, and also what he says about the Muji brand. It's maybe you don't know about that, but it's very simple and cheap. But actually, it's designed in very famous designers. It is. So the quality is very high. So please come to Japan once. And I'm running a lot I'm living in India, and I'd like to cooperate with you. So thank you so much.
Mr. Ambassador, I wanted your opinion on the Japanese economy. Prime Minister Abe came with a promise of Abenomics, which hasn't quite worked. Central Bank of Japan has taken drastic effects as going towards negative interest rates. So in this scenario, what is the future outlook that Japanese government sees towards the economy and considering the world economy right now?
Thank you very much for that question. It takes maybe 10 minutes to explain the current stage of the Japanese economy now. But very briefly, I can tell you that Abenomics is now working. And the growth rate last year was around 1.3%. relatively modest compared with a very high growth rate here in India. But compared to the previous years, the growth rate is now much higher than previous years. At the same time, the unemployment rate is very low now. The lowest, I think, in 22 years. So almost perfect employment now we are enjoying. So based on the very aggressive fiscal policy and also very, again, aggressive monetary policy combined, maybe we need a little bit more about reform policy taking place. But after 3 or 4 years, now Abenomics is now starting to work. So I expect that in this fiscal year or years to come, growth will be coming back. We are able to escape from this deflational cycle. So I can report to you that our economy is now coming back, and we are now trying to contribute more to our global economy. I want to go into more detail, but time is limited. So this is more overall situation in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you very much for covering my question. My question pertains to the political and defense relations between the two countries. Both India and Japan have territorial conflicts with China. It's far more pronounced in the case of India as compared to China. As compared to Japan. But China has been pretty aggressive in the South China Sea. It has considerable territorial claims in that area, as well as in the East Asia. When you are discussing Indo-Japanese defense security policy for the coming years, how much does China figure in that, and what way would it figure?
Recent development in South China Sea is very preoccupying. Important thing is that every parties should abide by international law, and especially UNCLOS. This is Japan is advocating for many years. I know that many countries have same views, and India, of course, shares same kind of value. So we have a lot of things in common with regard to security policy. Of course, you have a sometimes difficult relationship with China, but I hope China continue to be a responsible partner in the global stage by abiding by international law and regulations. So in that way, Japan and India can collaborate together to make sure that India or China play a more positive role in regional and global stage. And that is a discussion we are having. We are not going to antagonize China. We hope that China is a very important partner for us. But for that, we should make sure that China will be more responsible in many areas, including defense, security, and economic cooperation agenda. So we are very happy to see that we are having very good kind of a coordination, cooperation, and discussions with India with regard to how to deal with China. So this is one issue. I think Japan, India has strategic convergence. So I'm happy to report to you that we continue to make sure that this region will be prosperous and peaceful and stable, for that China's more positive attitudes is really needed. For that Japan-India collaboration is fundamentally important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for a wonderful presentation and excellent insights. I would also like to thank the audience in both Hyderabad and in Mohali for really, really in-depth, insightful questions which made this discussion really wonderful. So once again, thank you for coming, and thanks to the audience as well.